Hi everybody, it's Dr. Lou Walters at the Source Wellness Center. Now, I've talked in numerous videos about the importance of food and diet, and a great book and a short book and an easy read is called Pottinger's Cats. It's about Dr. Francis Pottinger, who between 1932 and 1942 did some experiments with cats and their diet. Now, it started off, he was doing experiments surgically removing adrenal glands, stress glands from the cats, and then giving them hormone replacement to figure out the doses, because you can't live without your adrenal glands. And then he ended up having more cats than his budget allowed for food-wise, so he started going to the local butcher to get the meat scraps at the end of the day so that he could feed the cats. And then he noticed an interesting phenomenon, that the cats that were eating the raw meat diet, the traditional diet for cats, that they were surviving the surgeries better. And then he also started noticing that they weren't getting the flea and mange infestations as well as the other cats that were eating processed cat food. So then he gave up on the adrenal thing and he started doing experiments with diet. And he found that the food that the cats were eating had a major impact on their overall health. Cats that ate processed foods were more likely to develop chronic diseases, cancers, heart conditions, autoimmune diseases, hormone issues. The males became more feminized, the females became more masculinized. Over generations, the shape of their facial bones and pelvic bowls actually changed. Their teeth and jaws became more crowded. The pelvic bowl became more narrow, making it harder and harder to have kittens. And eventually they were having fertility issues. The cats were having trouble getting pregnant at all over several generations of eating these processed food diets. On the other hand, the cats that were eating, he just solely gave the meat scraps, the raw meat scraps, like a wild cat would eat. They did not have these changes. Their jaws and teeth stayed nice and broad. They weren't getting the cavities. They weren't getting the narrowing of the pelvic bowl issues. They weren't having the infertility issues. They weren't having the hormone changes, the chronic diseases. Their mental sharpness stayed, and the reflexes stayed strong. And then he started doing experiments. Does it matter what the animals that were fed are being fed to the cats eat? So the type of grass the cows are eating and their feed. And he found, yes, there is actually a correlation with the quality of what they're eating affects the animals that eat them. And then he started, as a doctor, he started noting some of these patterns in his human population as well. So the food that we eat has a major impact on our health, not just in the moment, but long term and potentially generations down the road as well. A lot of the quote unquote food that is in the grocery store is not actually really food, but food-like substances that are highly processed, denatured. We lose nutrients, then we add synthetics back in, which is not exactly the same. It's better to eat more freshly picked foods, frozen foods, whole foods, to get as many of those nutrients as possible, minimize the processing, not overcooking, not overdoing it with the process and basically food-like substances. The book basically goes through each individual experiment. Like I said, it's a real quick, easy read, not hard to get through, and it's not very expensive on Amazon. Again, it's named Pottinger's Cats by Dr. Francis Pottinger, who is a medical doctor. I hope you enjoy, if you don't read the book, at least enjoy the summary and take that to heart with the foods that you're choosing to eat. Be well, be healthy, and best wishes.